Where is it found? In all the ponds of waters around it. And amoeba. Okay? It does what? It affects the brain. How does it get in? Through the nose. And that group of amoeba, okay, we're not talking about the shelled ones like the ones that make up the Great Pyramids. There's also one that goes for the eyes. That's a cantamoeba. But he can also go for the brain. I'm going to show you pictures first. Maybe I'm trying to give you some memory jogs, and then I'm going to go through the organs, go through straight through the handout, okay? Try to use the pictures. This is a slime mold. This is a slime mold. Found on the forest floor. Environmental only. Environmental only. Does he hurt us? He's not a pathogen. He just oozes. The whole thing oozes. Bioluminescence. This shouldn't be here. It's actually, well, it is. It's the dinoflagellus. Dinoflagellus. Some bacteria can be bioluminescent. I said, I'll show you another picture. If a boat disturbs the water and leaves a wake, and you have dinoflagellus, that's bioluminescence. A whole area lights up. You can see this for miles and miles and miles. Okay? Which, you can always track the ship for a little while. So, in case you haven't seen it, Trypanosoma. Two presentations, protozoa. He's a ribbon between the red blood cells. In Africa, African sleeping sickness, carried by the vector of the tsetse fly. Tired. For us, it's Chagas disease. The carrier that bites us while we're sleeping is the what bug?
Kissing bug.
Kissing bug. Does he inject it into us? No. Do we have to get Chagas disease within a year being bitten? No. It can remain latent, dormant, quiet. Come out later. That's the kissing bug. He's biting somebody on the finger. He's actually biting them. I don't know anybody would want to do that, but that's for whoever it is. Not real big. Like I said, it's got a very sharp mouth top. Very sharp. Doesn't look like a regular cockroach. That is Rhodophyta. And what color is it? Red. What do we get from it? Agar and Carrageenan. So if you think Carrageenan, you think all those
Ice cream.
Ice cream and other products. This one's Claviceps purpurea. It can be in rye, it can be in grains. The little oval black dots are the actual fungus. That associates with what? LSD, the original source of, can make people get sick if their grains are infected and they make their breads or biscuits from it. Possible old story could be related to the Salem witch trials. Okay? Persons accused of witchcraft. There are a lot of people. No, that's not purple fever. That's strep. That's strep like that. There are graveyards. And they say, here was buried a witch. And then this person was hung and then buried. Okay? That's the Irish potato family. These are people. Hard to see. It's real old. All right. Here's a person. Here's a person. There's a person in the center.
What was it called?
That was Phytophthora. That was technically now called a water mold. What to make change it again another day. That's what it can do. It'll rot those potatoes and turn them black in no time at all. No time at all. Don't eat mushrooms at random. Okay? This one is known to be poisonous. I don't know the name of it, to be honest. But yes, you can eat mushrooms if somebody knows what they're doing, and you can grill them and you can put them on a burger, or you can saute them. But don't go out there and get them yourself. This is the Bacteromacetes. Now, also, we'll say, do you know what they grow on? The one they sell to you commercially? They say the best thing to grow on is racehorse feces. But they grow on some sort of rich organic matter with a lot of feces. a lichen on a rock. Another presentation. Lichen is a symbiont of what?
Symbiotic.
Fungus, DNA, photosynthetic organism. What did you die on? Died on me. Photosynthetic organism, start yelling. The photosynthetic organism can be cyanobacteria or algae. I said, what eats it? Reindeer. Reindeer. That's that one. I'll bring up the other one and then we'll start another review. Boy, I get to yell at that. Okay, do you remember what this is? We're back to the prokaryotes. And the only one is environmental, forms a rosette, waterproof glue, mouth, chip holes, colobacter. Okay? You're going to do a lot of this does this, this does this, this does that. Who, with light around as a bacterium or a prokaryote, no food, aggregates, goes up, gives off myxospores, is myxobacteria. I'm not happy with you.
You want it all? Oh, a little bit. Then you can do a little bit. Okay, acidophile is going to put gastric ulcers in your stomach. Who is it? Helicobacter pylori. What did the researcher do to prove it? The effective cell. That is the group called the Enterobacteriaceae. Got it? Bacteria right in the middle. C-E-A-E on the end and intro at the beginning. All of them. Know what each one can do. They are now coming out as the CREs, which is a new type of antibiotic-resistant organism. Okay? E. coli can give you diarrhea if he has a certain plasma. Usually a no harmless resident. So do some of them. Salmonella is what? Typhoid fever and
Food poisoning.
food poisoning. Okay, coming down here to Yersinia, that is
Black Death.
Black Death, which we have the bubbles. That's not formed yet. It's going to turn black like a ball underneath the ball.
Who's green?
Ah, lost it again.
Turn off. We'll turn on and off, and I'll just yell in between. Okay, who has a green pigment for wound infection? Gram-negative rod. Pseudomonas. Some of them, like one's called Pseudomonas fluorescens. That means it is fluorescent. Grow in the fridge. Grow in your food products, meat, dairy. Can cause what type of infection? Swimmer's ear. If the wound is oozing, it's going to ooze what? Green. What's the odor? Sort of fruity. That's somebody's toe. If I turn the light off, it's green in the center. Green in the center. Rice water stools. Cholera. Thank you. Cholera. Always associate water. Technically, Vibrio cholera. Vibrio cholera. This is moving to vectors. Those are lots. What's the worst vector in the world? Mosquitoes. What's the second worst? Ticks. Ticks. I'm going to show you a few more pictures, then I'm going to start going through all the handouts from as far as we can get from point A to point B. I just want to give you some memory jogs with pictures. I really, really do. So come up here. MRSA wound. Deep. That thing can tunnel in. If it ever goes systemic, you're in serious trouble. You usually pack gauze with antibiotics and pack it all the way in, pull it out, and clean it, and do it again. MRSA is a subgroup of who? One of the first handouts you have. Staphylococcus. Staphylococcus. Not your friend. Okay. Coming over here. This is a little movie I want to show you. This is a parasitic bacterium on gram-negative bacteria only. Only. Now turn this off real quick and show you this. Okay. I can't teach you everything again from A to B, but I can pull out certain things to try to help you out. Okay? Think about this.
Throughout the movie, we see a tiny
This is the
black
Bedilla
Dalbergia
vibrio.
predatory bacterial cell inside a bigger, fluorescently labelled prey E. coli cell. The Dalbergia has invaded this cell, and as we start the movie, we see the Dalbergia elongate bidirectionally, growing and using the insides of the prey cell. Then it septates unusually to give 5 progeny cells, and the E. coli goes dark as those progeny cells lyse it and escape and go on to attack more prey bacteria.
Eats them from the inside out. Forms a long filament, breaks into small rods. Each rod forms a flagella for motility.
Flagella for motility. E. coli's been eaten alive. It's nothing but a shell. Goes off and gets the next one. Goes off and gets the next one. Okay? Let's see here. Cows, think CH4, methane. What's the group? Methanogens. The methane we don't want into the air because it can hold heat in better.
Anaerobes. This is just fun. Bear with me. Who is right above the methanogens on cross-linking information that often can keep the methane from getting into the air because they use the methane as an energy source and break it down? The methane oxidizers. So methanogens, deeper in the earth, are biofilm. Methane oxidizers, right above them, protect us. Okay. Somebody had a real sense of humor here. Where was it? That doesn't happen. All right. Yes, it's flammable, but no, that doesn't happen. Okay, strep throat. Streptococcus, in this case, strep pyogenes. Strep can also do other things. Okay. This is your rhizopus we did, soybeans. Doc Holliday had Mycobacterium somebody. What did he have? TB. Mycobacterium tuberculosis. As soon as I say Mycobacterium, think two pathogens. TB and leprosy. They give you positive acid fast stains. Nobody, no other stain, no other organism will stain positive. Hot pink. How you tell them apart? Skin lesions for one, lung involvement for the other. Okay, so that's your Mycobacterium. Not human, but you had it. It's called consumption. If I'm talking Clostridia, I want you to know 4 diseases. Perfringens, gangrene, difficile, C. diff, diarrhea, tetani, tetanus, which locks your muscles. Botulinum is botulism of food poisoning. Trying to do a little bit more. That's a cat. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to have to go back. Is there anything you want me to cover before I just start back giving you a review over the prokaryotes? Bless you. Before I go to the prokaryotes, I'm going to give you memory jogs on the eukaryotes. Can everybody hear me? You can't do this, okay? Irish potato famine destroys potatoes. Phytophthora infectants. Okay? Salem witch trial source of LSD infects grains, but this time we're talking a fungus. The other one was technically a slang word. Claviceps, purpurea, Ascomycete or Zygomycete. Think that almost everything I've been asking you for those is an Ascomycete. Well, the only one I'm asking you to know for the Zygomycete being rhizopus, the bread mold. Okay? Xenophobus. So Ascomycetes, Claviceps, purpurea, ergot, okay, in this case LSD, poison of the brain. There's also an Ascomycete. Penicillin. There's also an Ascomycete. Aspergillus. So that's 3. Zygomycetes, I asked you to know the one, the bread mold, rhizopus. Basidiomycetes, mushroom. Lichen is a type of fungus. It is a symbiont. Half fungus, the other one has to be a phototroph, cyanobacteria, or some sort of algae. I'm going to go back to this sheet, or some of these, because I have some time. I'm going to take it all the way to the end. We actually did the archaea, because I already mentioned the methanogens. Going from the beginning of the handouts for protozoans, prokaryotes. Archaea, extreme environments, and that was your methanogens that produce the flammable gas. What? Methane. Excuse me. Now, going away from that, because that's sort of self-explanatory. It's real weird looking one, but it is in your focus notes. Two spore formers. The two spore formers are Bacillus and Clostridium. Okay, we did the Clostridia. Are they anaerobes or aerobes? Anaerobes. Going over to the Bacillus. Bacillus. I have it broken down to antibiotics, agricultural, and pathogen. For antibiotics, there are two. Bacillus polymyxa gives you polymyxin. That's one of the usually three antibiotics in that triple antibiotic cream. Often the formulation is polymyxin, bacitracin, neosporin. Two of them are right here. Bacillus licheniformis gives you bacitracin. Here's some antibiotics. Bacillus thuringiensis is the Bt toxin. That's agricultural. It's going to be dusted on the plants and kill insects. Pathogen, Bacillus anthracis. Cutaneous versus inhalation. Which one would you prefer to have? Which means cutaneous. Now, if we're talking about this right here, and we're talking about antibiotics, I'm cross-linking information now, because the test isn't going to be A to Z. Right? There is a group that is known to live in the dirt. Our filamentous are the major bacterial group for us to get antibiotics from. Streptomyces is one of their examples. What is the name of the whole group? The actinomycetes. The actinomycetes. The actinomycetes. Still with the actinomycetes. If it rains and you walk across that earth and you smell that odor of wet dirt, who are you smelling? Is what you just said. One of the actinomycetes, it is streptomyces. Streptomyces can give you what antibiotic? Streptomycin. I'm trying to show you logical links between the information. Trying to show you logical links. Staph and strep on the back. You pretty much have that. MRSA belongs to which one? Staph. Strep belongs to which one? Well, strep belongs to itself. Excuse me. Strep throat belongs to which one? Strep. Okay. Which one can give you ear infections but not swimmer's ear? Strep. Actually, anything can give you an ear infection. Okay. I knew of a case of a pediatrician with a kid that had MRSA on the inside of their ear. And that was very serious because when they tried to lance it and get the pus out, you know how pus can get real hard? They were like, I don't know, the kid had to be hurt. Pressing real hard and it's just pus kept coming out. That's very dangerous because it's close to the what? Really? You don't want that. Nobody wants that, obviously. Okay, a little bit on the bacillus. Mycoplasmas. Mycoplasmas. I lied about everything I said about bacteria when it comes to the mycoplasmas. They have no cell wall, no petulant likeness. Since they have no cell wall, that immediately brings the next layer of information. They are osmotically fragile, which means they have to live in your mucous membranes or they blow up. For shape, they are pleomorphic because they have nothing to give them a shape, right? Smallest free-living cell. On a plate, they look like you dropped an egg, not the shell. Okay. Drop the egg or fragment. Does that make sense? Can be pneumonia. How many things can be pneumonia? Not a few. Okay? We talked about the mycobacterium. Okay? There's your actinomycetes, there's your streptomycetes. Mycobacterium, we did. Corynebacterium is who? You already know that. This is backwards. Okay? Who is Nocardia? Nocardia. Helps break down recalcitrant or hard to break down substances. Nocardia will help break down. So is streptomyces, actually. Are you lost? I'll show you where.
No, I just had that.
Okay, all right. Let me help you out. I am giving a review, I am giving you pictures, I am bringing up big thoughts, but I also want to interlink information. I want to interlink information. Okay, coming over to the A bacteria, the alphas. Brucella is known for what? Spontaneous abortion. In cattle, but not in humans and not in what animal? Not in buffalo. So there's a fuss going on between the buffalo people and the cattle people out west. Because what happens to their next generation if they're cattle person? And the buffalo ranch is next door. Okay? Here is your rhizobium under nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Okay? No, and don't forget, Azotobacter, which I'm going to just tell you that before I get to it. Azotobacter has an inclusion granule called PHB. That's called polyhydroxybutyrate. You know PHB, you will look at it. Think form of plastic. They actually will take Azotobacter, grind them up, and they will make some of your disposable bottles. Make some of your bottles. Agrobacterium forms your galls on your plants. Okay, there's your Caulobacter with your water-soluble glue. Okay, Bordetella is pertussis, that's whooping cough. I'm going to take every last second. Sewage, Zoglia helps, Spariotilus harms. Zoglia forms flocks you can remove or will settle out. Spariotilus, not your friend. Not your friend. Okay, going to the D bacteria. Corrodes pipes, the Sulfovibria. The little predator, Videllovibria. Videllovibria. E bacteria, there's your Helicobacter in your stomach. Gastric ulcers. Coming over here, I'm trying to hit the high points so you'll have keywords maybe to think of to put down on flashcards. I can't remember make them for you, and there may be more points. I can give you some key ideas. Okay, over here, chlamydias, sexually transmitted. Obligate intracellular parasites. Know which one of these are obligate intracellular parasites and which ones, well, everything else isn't. Okay, elementary bodies, particulate bodies, elementary bodies, infect. Spirochetes, your tired hearing Treponema, and your tired hearing Borrelia, but know the relevant diseases. Okay, Bacteroides, human intestines. Okay, coming to the next one. I already said, know the group for the Enterobacteriaceae. Already went over the Pseudomonads. We already did Vibrio cholera. Haemophilus is Haemophilus influenza. Misnamed because what? Flu is really a virus. He was a secondary infection. Okay, this is on the G bacteria. Up here with facultative anaerobes. There are two more intracellular pathogens, Legionella toxelia. Methane oxidizers are right above who? The methanogen. Hematochrome. Ask me questions.